My name is Haley Wright, and welcome to another edition of Emerging Issuer. Joining us in the studio today is JC Chatpar, the Chief Executive Officer of CYBD.PK Incorporated, a company that trades on the over-the-counter bulletin board in the U.S. under the symbol CYBD. But before we start the interview, here's a little information on the company. CYBD.PK Incorporated is a designer, software developer, and manufacturer of proprietary advanced distributed digital voice switches and high-performance internet protocol broadband systems, such as soft switches, routers, gateways, firewalls, and servers for network operators worldwide. It also provides communication services through its subsidiaries to small businesses and residential subscribers in the states of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Welcome to Emerging Issuer, JC.
Thank you, Haley. Glad to be here.
Now, recently in a press release, you said, JC, that your overall business strategy is to grow through acquisitions of a switchless communication service providers. Now, naturally, I would assume the reason for that is because it's cheaper to acquire customers. But having said that, though, how do you plan to achieve this objective with the level of competition in your space?
Well, first, there are some 2,000 switchless communication service providers in the U.S. These companies are forced by the recent FCC deregulation to either build their networks or to sell their businesses by March 2010. That ruling came about in March 2005, given FCC provided a 5-year window for them to really proceed in this direction. These companies are generally excellent marketing companies that have garnered over $4.5 billion of annual revenues away from the baby bells, the three baby bells, which are namely Verizon, AT&T, and Quest. However, these switchless companies lack the technical knowledge to build the networks, which is our core competence. The entire U.S. market is currently at $220 billion annually for both landline, voice, and data communications, 90% of which is controlled by the baby bells. Therefore, this presents a huge market opportunity for us. We are taking advantage of the deregulation to buy only profitable switchless companies at about 2 to 3 times EBITDA, which I think is excellent, as it provides us with instant customer base with very low cost of customer acquisition. Our objective is to first consolidate and integrate a number of these companies with our company. We benefit from scale of economies, and we have, as we acquire sufficient customer base in certain particular location, we will then deploy a vast array of voice and data communication switching equipment and migrate the customers onto our network from that of the baby bells. By doing so, we further improve our bottom line profits by over 250%, which is incredible, at least as we see going forward. With respect to competition, first, we do not foresee much competition in our business post-deregulation, primarily because there are very few players in the industry who are actively pursuing acquiring switchless companies. As far as we are concerned, most of these 2,000 plus switchless companies have to make a tough decision to sell out before March 2010, and we are ready to buy them at our terms. Secondly, we have a unique technology that is extensively software-driven, creating very compact systems that can be easily deployed in any current central office exchange that even has very tight space or substantial space limitations. So going forward, we see ourselves in a nutshell that this market has been opened up by deregulation processes substantially in favor of CYBD.PK with this technology that we have developed over last some 20 years plus, and It is a historic event for us in terms of first time in our history we are now able to participate in a massive scale going forward in this U.S. Market.
Now, JC, the FCC adopted some new regulations for multi-tenant buildings, and we know obviously the FCC regulates the business that you're in. How does this development positively impact CyberDigital's overall strategy?
Well, Haley, FCC has recently passed another deregulation as part of their long-term processes to continue deregulating the U.S. One is the opening up of the market for communications service providers like CyberDigital to come in and provide services in multiple dwelling units and multiple tenant environments. In that arena, FCC is basically barring the landlords to have exclusive rights and terms and conditions with the cable companies and or the three baby bells. It is opening up the entire marketplace for us. Part and parcel in year 1999 and 2000, we had experienced experiment with AT&T as an AT&T Alliance partner. We had developed a vast array of internet protocol-based product line primarily for the last mile for multiple dwelling units that AT&T faced a significant need for that particular marketplace. And we are so happy that FCC has currently opened up the current marketplace for us, which is a very lucrative market in terms of a high density area of the customers that we can derive from this particular marketplace.
The company is being publicly traded, and obviously everyone is interested in shareholder value. What steps is the company taking to nurture that process?
Well, obviously we are in the business of growing our business pursuant to the recent rulings in our favor that really catapults CyberDigital into a huge marketplace, as said before, addressing a marketplace of $220 billion. We believe that through the acquisition processes, garnering the customer base very rapidly and instantly. Secondly, that as the FCC further deregulates only to our advantage and to our benefit, that we in the lucrative business of recurring revenues in telecommunications, providing voice and data. Our mantra is to be the alternate to the baby bells, who are commanding over $220 billion marketplace. In the next few years, if you happen to be $1 billion or $2 billion company with net incomes in the order of range of 30 to 40%, as the telecommunications companies enjoy, I think we would be having a phenomenal performance for our stockholders, current stockholders, and also new stockholders today.
And last question, JC, and this is primarily for our viewers out there. Why should the investment community stand up and take notice of CyberDigital?
Well, one, that we are in an emerging growth situation in the country, in the U.S. domestic marketplace, offering us a very large marketplace to enter, where the regulations are in favor of us. Secondly, that this is a recurring revenue business, and it is largely speaking recession-proof in the sense that people, whether they are businesses or residential subscribers, they all love to talk on the phone. Businesses cannot communicate without voice communications and or the internet and or other forms of data, and we are partaking in that business, and we hope that we know that we will be very successful, being that there are very few players in this marketplace entering in where we are, and there's virtually no competition or very little competition in the marketplace where we are in. And I think the shareholders will benefit in the long term being with us.
Thanks, JC, for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Haley. It's nice to speak to you.
For more information on CyberDigital, their technology and management team, visit their website, www.cyberdigitalinc.com. Well, that's it for me, Haley Wright. Until the next edition of Emerging Issuer, we'll see you then.